said, well, you do what she said. You go in there and write a paper more realistic. That's a problem. See, you should expect your enemy to be your enemy.
That's right.
You should expect someone that's on the top that knows that they're only on the top because of tyranny and oppression and injustice. And they know that if they ever equal out or even the playing field, that we would dominate like we do every time we get on something. Right. You should expect that from your enemy.
Yes, sir.
But what you should not do if you're a real mother or a real father. See, a real mother and father don't want their children to be like them. A real parent wants their child to be better than them. That's a real mother and father. So when God gave man the four original instructions, he said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and do what? Subdue it. Fruitful means that you've got to put ideas together in your mind to bring birth to creativity. Multiply means you've got to bring children into the world. But after you take those ideas and you bring those children in the world, number 3, your job is to replenish the earth.
That's right.
The word replenish means to replace with something better. So everybody in the current generation that has a son or a daughter, your job is to do something for them, with them, and invest in them where they can replace the current population of the people on the earth with a whole new breed of people. Better than the ones that currently inhabit the planet. So Steve Harvey's mother should have never said that. But his father came home. It's always good to have a mother and a father in the home. Always good. See, because whenever a real man is with a real woman, or a man is with a woman, sometimes she gets weak in the area, but he's strong.
Come on.
Sometimes he's weak in the area, but she's strong.
Come on, sir.
So when we talk about each other, we say my wife is my other half.
Yes, sir.
My husband is my other half. Because man is created rational/emotional.
Right.
While the female is created emotional/rational.
Yes, sir.
And in the process of mathematics, there's something called cross multiplication.
That's right, sir.
And if you got a numerator R in this one and a denominator R in that one, the two cross each other out and become one.
That's right.
If you got a denominator E in the man and a numerator E in the woman, it crosses out and becomes one. And 1 over 1 equals 1. We are nothing by ourselves. We need a mate to make us into something so that we can be a complete individual. All praise will keep you alive. So I'm glad that where she was weak, Daddy was strong. When Daddy came home, Steve Harvey said, Daddy, teacher told me that I need to go home and write a paper more realistic. And Mama was there, Daddy was there, Steve Harvey was there. And he said, well, son, what did you put on the paper? He said, I wanted to be on television. He said, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Boy say he want to be on TV, he can be on TV.
Come on. Thank God.
But Mama said that I need to go and write something more realistic. Now, he's a real man. He didn't say nothing in front of his son. He said, Steve, you go to your room.
That's right.
And he had a conversation with the mother. I don't know what he said because Steve Harvey's the one telling the story. But I imagine he told her, look, don't you ever tell our son nothing like that.
Right.
Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Come on. Listen, brothers and sisters, the first thing you should do with your children before they ever start school is have a funeral. You say, huh?
Come on.
A funeral. On the first day of school in our school, you know what we do? We have a funeral.
Come on.
A funeral for what? The word Kent. We have all the children write up a good old picture of Kent. And then one of the students comes and he decides to eulogize Kent.
Yes, sir.
That's a good idea.
Huh? It's the opposite of a normal eulogy. Because a normal eulogy comes and they want to tell you how good somebody been in the past. But we want to tell you how bad Kent has been.
That's right.
And how many dreams that it has killed. How many hopes and aspirations have died. How many people punked out on their purpose by believing that there was something that they could not do. And they go in the back, dig up a real hole. Everybody throws their Kent down in there. We bury Kent, eulogize Kent, go back to school. Every now and then somebody accidentally uses the word Kent in class when math get a little hard. When chemistry get a little challenging, and we tell them, now, hold on, now, you know you're not able to to use that word. Where is can? They will tell you, buried.
Right.
So if can is dead, you can't use it no more.
Right.
Sometimes they keep slipping up. We got to take them all the way out in the back. What lies here? Can. So why do you keep using a word that you can't, that you're not able to use anymore?
Right.
Can is dead. Steve Harvey's father went upstairs and told Steve, asked him, do you really want to be on television? He said, yes, I do. I really do. He said, I tell you what. For the grade, we're going to write a paper on a police officer. Say you want to be a police officer. And you turn that in to get your grade from the teacher. But what I want you to do, son, is I want you to take that paper that you wrote on being on television, and I want you to put it at the top drawer in your bedroom. And before you walk out of your room every single day, I want you to pull that paper out and read it to yourself. For 10, 15 years, 7 days a week, before he ever went out of his room, he picked up the paper and read that I am going to be on television. Where's Steve Harvey at right now?
On television.
Is he on television?
Like 3 shows. Like on 3 shows.
He's on Family Feud.
Right.
Steve Harvey show. Right. Steve Harvey radio show.
Right.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Suit line.
Yes. That's right.
And then some.
Right. Kings of comedy. Yeah.
But how many young brothers and sisters coming up allow a hater, a spider, a seed dropper, or a spirit killer knock them away from their purposeful living? When I was coming up, guess what grade I was in? 6th grade.
Something about that 6, huh?
Something about that 6th grade. Maybe it's because right there you're 12, you're on your way in a teenage year where you start becoming a little more solid, interested in becoming an adult, and by being interested in becoming an adult, you start trying to buckle down on what you want to do, and they figure that I will kill it before you get there. My teacher in the 6th grade didn't say nothing to me, but they went indirectly to my best friend and told my best friend, look, you have potential. But your buddy, I've seen his kind before. And I'm telling you, he's going nowhere in life. And he's going to be nothing. So I advise you to get away from him while you can. Now keep it. Now come on, this is my ace boom coon now.
Right.
This is my partner.
Right.
Y'all understand. He lives next door to me. We both are poor. That means that whenever I don't have no cereal and he does, I get cereal from him.
That's right.
That means whenever his lights is off and mine is on, he runs an extension cord from my house.
Right. Keep it real.
Huh? That means when my water's off and his is on, I go over there to freshen up. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
He sleep over my house. I sleep over his house. I wear his clothes sometimes. He wear my clothes sometimes. We look like we fresh to death. This is my man. So what you think he did? He did what? He told on him. And I was hurt. So when he told me, I said to the teacher, I said, Mr. Dennis, I'd like to see you in the hallway, sir.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. That's just what I did. I know normally a teacher take the student out in the hallway, but I'm taking him in the hallway.
That's right.
Come on. And I asked him, I said, I have a question I want to ask you. Did you say that I was going to be nothing and I was going nowhere in life? Well, no, did you say it or did you not say it?
Check
I said,
him.
yeah, I said it, but nothing. I said, how can you be my teacher and you don't believe in me, but I'm supposed to sit here and listen to you and believe in you? I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make it through the class, but don't ever say nothing to me again. And And I walked in back in the classroom. He came in with tears in his eyes. He tried to clean it up later on, but it's too late. Damage done.
Yes, sir.
Now the difference, though, between Jay-Z and the minister and Malcolm and Steve Harvey, and even in this case myself, is that you got two emotions that you can have when you run across these kind of people. Either you can let that make you sad,
Right.
that beat you down, or you can let it make you mad and use your anger as fuel
Yes, sir. Come on.
to prove all the haters wrong.
That's right, sir. That's right.
Well, guess what happened? I was speaking at Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I was teaching, and guess who came up to me after the lecture was over?
The teacher.
Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Y'all got your seatbelts on still, right?
Yes, sir.
Now my teacher comes up to me and he shakes my hand and he looks at me with that look.
You made it.
And you won't believe what this dude had the audacity to say to me. I
Always knew you could make it. Come on.
Question is he telling the truth? See, maybe he did know that. And maybe he did see that I had potential, but he wanted to make sure that he circumvented that potential before I ever became what I was supposed to become. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
But in closing, sisters and brothers, the way you find your purpose is you have to find what you love to do,
Yes, sir.
what you do best. Because what you love to do and what you do best is more than likely what you are born to do. Your purpose is the single thing you do at your absolute best with the least amount of effort.
Wow.
Don't worry about the world we live in that has you focused on money.
Yes.
Because money is another way of buying your purpose.
Sell out.
Happiness does not come from fulfillment of pocket. Happiness comes from fulfillment of purpose. My teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, said in a lecture, he said that I looked up the word happiness. Oh, the minister, he's so beautiful. Oh, man, I'm telling you, if you like anything I have to say, you will love everything he has to say. In fact, maybe the Wayne County Community College should have Farrakhan on deck. What y'all think about that? How would y'all feel about Farrakhan coming to Wayne County Community College? Sound like a good move. What y'all think?
Yes, sir. It's a good idea.
It don't take nothing but a tsunami. You know, tsunamis start at the bottom.
That's right.
And they work their way up to the top. Now, don't wait for the top. Down. Go from the bottom up.
Right.
Y'all understand what I'm trying to say. Adhere to the wise is sufficient. The minister, he's so beautiful. He said, I was looking up the word happiness. Look what he said. He said, no, not in the dictionary. He said, I consulted myself. Yeah, I said, that's my kind of leader. Who in the hell is Webster anyway? I don't know nothing about Webster. Do you? Anybody know anything about Webster? No. I mean, who wrote the American Collegian?
Right.
Who organized the Oxford House? Who's to say that definition is the definition? I personally would rather go with Farrakhan's definition before Webster any day. He said, I found that happiness is when one has found their purpose for living. And they are fulfilling that purpose. They then have an unspeakable joy. Your purpose is found by what you love to do and what you do best. Your purpose is that single thing that you do and are good at with the least amount of effort. There's a man named Napoleon Hill. Y'all heard of him before?
Yes, sir.
Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. You know, that's the watered down version of his story. You didn't hear me. Andrew Carnegie hired Napoleon Hill to interview, shadow, and be the mentee of the 500 most powerful people in the world for 20 years. And over 20 years of interviewing the wealthiest and most powerful people, studying them, Napoleon Hill's job was to figure out what all of them had in common and then distill it down in the principles and show the world what the formula was for success was. And do you know that after he broke it down over 20 years of study of 500 of the most powerful people, that he found that the number one ingredient that all of the powerful and the wealthy and the most successful people had in common is that they operated with one chief aim and purpose? None of them were on the top because they did what they did for money alone. None of them were on the top because they worked to fill their pocket. They were on top because they worked to fulfill their purpose. Are y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
That can happen for you and me too. Now, after you find your purpose for living, what you love to do, what you do best is more than likely what you're born to do. That single thing that you do well or do best with the least amount of effort, that's what you're born to do. That thing that if somebody, see, some people say, oh, I think I'm doing my purpose. Well, let me ask you a question. If I gave you $20 million right now, would you still be doing it? And if the answer is no, then you're not working in your purpose. See, if you had your purpose and somebody gave you $20 million, you want to invest it in the expansion of purpose. But if somebody can give you an amount of money and it makes you quit what you're doing right now for a quote-unquote living, then that's not purpose yet. Are you all right?
Yes, sir.
After we find our purpose, the purpose means nothing if it's not married with or multiplied by a strong mindset. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan made this revolutionary statement. He said that there is nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. Nothing is more powerful than a what?
Made-up mind.
Well, in science and physics, you learn that the formula for power is work divided by time.
Wow.
In other words, the way you find what the most powerful object is in the universe is you have to find the fastest moving object in the universe. And when you find the fastest moving object, you have found the most powerful thing in the universe. Well, let's see if we can make nature and science bear witness to this statement that there's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind that comes from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. One thing we have in creation that moves pretty fast that we use every day to get from point A to point B is called a what? A car. Car. Cars can go 200, 250 miles per hour. That's fast. Yes, and when they move at that speed, they are functioning off of what is called horse power. Yes, so cars have